old Nintendo gamer.
And son.
Catching up with you, Greg. That's the start of it anyway. As you've been away, Nick and I have been through our, first of all, top fives of 2020. We'd be very interested to hear yours.
Yes, I do. I do recall listening to yours, although I can't really remember what they were. Yeah, my 2020 was a tough year, particularly for like the Switch. I found like I didn't really start the year playing the Switch. And then I eventually did get into it because of Animal Crossing. Like I kind of bought Animal Crossing just as a reason to sort of like play the Switch again, and it worked kind of as intended because I did start playing a few games on the Switch again. But then because of the lack of releases that were really that interesting, I completely tailed off again, and kind of started getting back into the PS4. So most of my top five is actually probably games that didn't even come out in 2020, but I don't really have anything that would be able to hang my hat on from 2020 that I could say, yeah, that's worthy of being in the list. So my fifth best game of last year, it must have came out a couple of years ago now. It was Dirt Rally 2.0, which Nick has talked about a few months ago. It's just a great rally game. Like my favorite rally era was kind of like back on like the N64, PS1.
Yeah,
because like it was just some cracking games like Colin McRae Rally and like V Rally,
Top Gear Rally,
and like Top Gear Rally, yeah, Sega Rally, just some brilliant rally games. I never really played any for a few generations because I felt like they kind of maybe deviated away from what I was really into or something, or just maybe the genre just wasn't really appealing for a while there. But I played WRC 8 on the Switch last year and actually had a pretty decent time with it. But then when I did eventually get back into the PS4, it was just sort of like that realization that the Switch doesn't really cut it for like the high end racing games. And like when I got my hands on Dirt Rally, it was like it felt so much more enjoyable to play than WRC did. And I don't even think that maybe be entirely a criticism of the Switch as such, because I think WRC on the PS4 would probably be like a similar sort of story. It's like I spoke to you guys before and sort of compared it to like the difference between FIFA and Pro Evo. Like for me, Dirt Rally is like the Pro Evo of like the rally universe. Like for me, it's a lot more enjoyable to play, and like it looks great and stuff. So I've still got loads to do in it. Like I bought the Game of the Year edition, and yeah, there's plenty of stuff to do. Like it may have been a wee bit bare bones when it originally released, whenever that was, but like there's plenty to do in it now. So yeah, it's kicking my ass at times, like, but that's what you play it for, really. That challenge. My fourth game on the list is one that I could probably you could probably argue that there was a release for it in 2020 as well, because the game is exactly the same as the previous year's game, and that's Pro Evolution Soccer 2020. So the gameplay is absolutely identical, because obviously they just released the season update, but I stuck to Pro Evo 2020, and yeah, to be honest, I think I'm finding myself thinking that it's the best football game I've ever played, actually. Like for a long time, particularly during like the GameCube and like PlayStation 2 era, like it was all about Pro Evolution Soccer on the PS2, and like everybody still kind of looks back on that as like the glory years of Pro Evolution Soccer, and in a way it was, because like it was the dominant franchise kind of over FIFA in a way. Like FIFA had all the licenses, but everybody played Pro Evo because it was so much better. But unfortunately, over like the last decade or so, FIFA's just taken a foothold. Like FIFA is better now than it ever was back at that time. Like it is like a functional sort of game now. But like if you try and go back and play some of the Pro Evo games from the PS2 now, like if you take a bit of time to get back into it, like there's it's still like great games there, but with the freedom of passing and shooting and all the other moves you can do nowadays, like they do feel a lot stiffer and more restrictive. Like going back, like even trying to like play like a through ball, like to split the defense or something, it doesn't work the same as it does now. And yeah, I'm excited to see what Konami do with Pro Evolution Soccer 2022 when it comes to the PS5 later in the year. Yeah, like it's hard to beat a good Pro Evo match, like just the overall feeling of it. Number 3 is a game that definitely came out this year, and it's the only PS5 specific game that I own, but it's such a great demonstration of the DualSense controller, and that's Astro's Playroom. And I think I mentioned it on the podcast a few weeks ago that it's pretty much the most Nintendo type game I've ever played, really, on a PlayStation console, because it's just like, it's like a kind of love letter to like the PlayStation fans over the years, just the wee nods it has to certain things, and like the wee collectibles. You collect different things from like all the years of PlayStations and stuff. But yeah, just the way the game plays is there's not that much to it, but everything that it does do is a pretty cool demonstration of the controller and the way like the rumble works and like the adaptive triggers. Just yeah, it's just a really good demonstration of the controller, and kind of makes you excited for what might be possible in future games. But like I said at the time, I wouldn't be confident that the features of the controller will be used well by very many people, unfortunately. But yeah, it's a great wee game, and like the music and stuff's catchy and all too. So if you ever get a chance to give it a go, I don't think you maybe will, Lee, because you're very much in the Nintendo camp.
I might be lucky enough. There's they've always got a PlayStation's big in Taiwan. Like we mentioned last week, Xbox is just nothing here. So they sometimes have PlayStation stations basically outside one of the game stores. Which is in one of the main department stores here. So it's all inside, but it's just outside the thing. So there's lots of kids. But if Astrobot is on there, yeah, I'm going to be pushing a few kids out of the way, I think, to be giving it a quick demo, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd certainly recommend giving it a go. My number 2 game definitely didn't come out in 2020. If anything, it probably came out maybe about 2016, something like that. I'm not sure, but it was the game that kind of got me back into the PS4 and gave me that eye-opening moment in terms of racing games, and that's Drive Club, which I initially got when I bought the PS4 back in 2017. No, it'll be Christmas 2016 actually. Just the year before the Switch came out. And yes, it's a great game. I absolutely love it. Like I remember when I was buying like the bundle, and it came with Uncharted 4 and The Last of Us Remastered and Drive Club. And I remember looking at Drive Club and thinking, I'm probably not really going to be that interested in that. But it actually turns out it's probably one of my favourite race games ever, if anything. Like it still looks really good, particularly like the weather effects and stuff, but I really like the way like the races are kind of like set up where yes, you'll have to win the race or whatever, but there's other objectives in the race as well. Like you'll have to maybe reach a certain top speed, or you maybe have to like drift, get a certain like you maybe have to do a particular corner, like it'll sort of like be like marked out, and you have to like drive around a corner a specific way, like to get like a top score for that, and you'll be competing either against like the score that the computer has sort of like set as the target, or you can like be competing against like other people in your online friends list. So like other people have done that race, they'll have like a certain score, and it'll tell you what their score is down at the bottom, and then you're able to like compete against them. So I think that sort of stuff's really cool. But yeah, I've still got so much actually to do in Drive Club. I beat all the like main objectives, but there's like loads of DLC that I picked up as well that I can play. And there's like Drive Club bikes as well, which I haven't really got into yet, but I imagine that'll probably be pretty enjoyable as well. But then for my favourite game of 2020, like there's there's no really contest really. I was a wee bit surprised that it was as good as it was, but I'm so delighted that it is, and that's Streets of Rage 4. What a great game, great music, a perfect sort of like throwback to the Streets of Rage games of like the Mega Drive era, but managing to modernize it in a way that still makes it relevant now, because there's been so many other beat 'em ups and stuff which are like fine and functional and they're okay, but they never quite capture that magic that Streets of Rage always kind of had. And yeah, I just absolutely love it, and I'm still actually playing it at the moment as well. I've been playing it in multiplayer recently and stuff, and I just absolutely love it.
It's sitting on my Switch.
Yeah, have you still haven't tried it yet?
Not yet, no. I got sidetracked into doing a review.
Yeah, I genuinely hope you enjoy it as much as me and Nick both have over the course
Wasn't
of the year.
Wasn't it your number 2 as well?
Well, yeah, it was my number 2. Technically number 1 because Halo came out last year. Yeah. A little bit surprised, Greg, that there's no Tony Hawk's in that top 5.
Yeah. It is a good game. But in some way, like I think when I spoke about it previously, there is the thing that it maybe sticks too religiously to the older games, which in some ways is a positive, but it could have done with being
a bit fresh,
like, modernized in certain ways as well. Like it is good. It'd probably be quite close to the top 5 for the year, I guess, but I think ultimately I enjoyed playing these other games more. So
yeah, fun playability, that's what it comes down to. And the soundtrack in Streets of Rage 4 is so good it demands a surround sound. That sounds good, Greg.
Well, obviously I said about the David Wise soundtrack in Snake Pass was kind of just like background noise and stuff, and quite often I only get to experience like Switch games in that way, whereas I'm not really absorbed in the sound. But I mean, we're all kind of like locked down at home and stuff at the minute, and I start thinking like, I feel like I deserve to treat myself to like an audio experience, so that's why I have purchased a surround sound setup, which will hopefully arrive next week at some point. But nice. Yeah, I can't wait. Like Streets of Rage will be one of the games that I will be trying out first, just to enjoy that. But yeah, I think it will completely change, because like speakers in modern TVs aren't great, like rubbish. So even any sort of like soundbar or something would have enhanced it, but I've want a wee bit extra to get the surround sound, but it's not like high end or anything, but it will, like, compared to what I'm experiencing at the moment, it'll be night and day, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I remember my first surround sound I got was a JVC, but it was like built in with the actual DVD player and all that. And then the first DVD I put on was Star Wars: A New Hope, and then as that starship comes over, you know, the Imperial cruiser comes over behind you, and then so good. Surround sound was awesome. I don't have a surround sound system anymore. So moving on, Greg, the week after we did our top 5s and our best of the year, we did some predictions. So we wouldn't mind listening to a few quick predictions from you as well for 2021.
Yeah, I don't think he's had the most exciting year ahead plan.
My predictions have fallen through the roof already. I did say that one of the games we'd be talking about very shortly, new Pokemon Snap, was going to be delayed until 2022, and that's already scuppered my predictions plans there. How about yours?
I would say there's probably a few crossovers here, because there's definitely a couple of games here that you probably mentioned. Mario Golf. I think that's locked in for this year. It feels like the right time. It's been a couple of years since Mario Tennis Aces, and I've sort of been thinking, like, and on the one hand they could either port the 3DS game, which is already great, and maybe like add some stuff to it, but I think they will release a new one. And sort of in terms of like the naming conventions, if you're going along the like Mario Tennis Aces line, I was sort of thinking, Mario Golf Birdies, it doesn't really have a like badass ring to it, so maybe something like Mario Golf Eagles. That'll be my prediction. I think that'll
good.
probably come out around summertime, like June, July sort of time, I think. But if Mario Golf isn't like a port of the 3DS game, I think because the Wii U well is running dry, I think we're going to get a couple of 3DS ports this year. One of them will be Samus Returns, because Metroid will not be out until at least next year. And I think it was maybe Nick that said we won't even see anything about it. Yeah, I think it could be right.
Yeah.
We may see a trailer about it, but I don't know. I'm not convinced. And I think if we're going to get another 3DS port, it will be Kid Icarus Uprising. Because there has been a wee bit of demand for that at times because of the way it controls and stuff. So that certainly wouldn't surprise me if we've seen that this year.
Yeah, that'd be something easier they could knock out as well, you know. I'd be looking forward to that. I did enjoy my time with it on the 3DS, but with a proper dual twin stick setup,
it'd be much better, wouldn't it?
It'd be more enjoyable, wouldn't it?
Yeah. If anything, like I would maybe prefer like a sequel or something that sort of improves on it a bit. But yeah, a port wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. And I think, am I right in thinking it's like a Zelda anniversary year?
Yeah, in February.
Right, so Breath of the Wild is the sequel's definitely not coming this year. They might say it is, but they'll definitely be into next year at least. But I think in the spirit of like Super Mario 35, we will get some rubbish Zelda 35 swords or something. Instead of 4 swords, it'll be 35 swords. Some multiplayer bollocks that I'm gonna hate.
You might play once and hate it.
Yeah. And I don't actually know if there will be that much more Zelda this year, really, other than maybe those like imports of Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD, and presumably Skyward Sword as well, but maybe not. I'm not sure they'll bother.
If I knew about the new Switch system coming out to the Mario one, which we'll talk about very shortly, I'd put my money on a green and gold Switch system coming out as well toward the end of the year for Zelda.
How disgusting. Like the Mario one itself, actually, like I hate the look of it, really.
Oh, do you? I like it. I'm in the like, I think this is a Marmite thing, isn't it? I do like that clash of red upon blue.
I don't. I like that it. I know we're sort of deviating here a wee bit, but I like that the unit and like the dock and stuff is all red, and the Joy-Cons as well are red as well. So when you take the blue away from it, it is just like a sort of pretty sleek looking red unit actually. Yep. But when you add like the accessories of like the Joy-Con grip, which is all blue, and then the wrist straps and all, like it makes it look a bit disgusting.
Any last predictions?
Just the odd wee thing like that. I don't have any major predictions. Like I'd love to see like F-Zero GX finally get an HD version, but that's probably not going to happen. So we're going to get like something like a new Mario vs Donkey Kong game. I think something like that will happen. Super Mario Party 2, 100% happening this year. And I think we'll get an experimental Kirby game as well. Not the traditional sort of platformer, but something like, obviously we had like a Rainbow Paintbrush and all those sorts of types of games. There'll be some weird Kirby game come as well, which will be trash.
I put my money on it.
What about Bayonetta 3, No More Heroes 3? Are they coming this year?
Oh, there's some news on Bayonetta 3, which I didn't write down here, is that Kamiya was on an Arcade Archives streaming show, which they do quite often. So he was actually in a phone-in because of the COVID-19 situation. So he was talking because he loves his classic games. Kamiya is one of the producers, directors of a lot of the games, like Wonderful 101 from Platinum Games. So he's sitting there and they obviously quizzing him, what about Bayonetta 3? And he's going, you may hear something about Bayonetta 3 this year.
Rubbish.
And that's all he said.
Yeah, I think I read that there. I honestly couldn't give a stuff about Bayonetta 3. It can come out whenever it wants. So it'll be alright. Like, No More Heroes 3 will come out this year. And I have a feeling it will not review particularly well.
Probably.
But it will have a fan base that will love
following.
it like the other games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's also something I completely forgot about is Kamiya's follow-up to, he's got his superhero trilogy. There's The Wonderful 101, Beautiful Joe, and then there's Project GG, which they showed an incredibly short trailer of a long time ago. Potential for that maybe showing up as well.
Oh, maybe I don't even remember it.
Me either. Canned.
Canned, yeah, show up. Hey, Bayonetta 3, here it is, the other one gone. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give us a like if you've enjoyed our content. You can also check out our other great content on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and the Any Café podcast from all good podcast providers. Just follow the links in the description below.